In today's video, we're going over the current conditions, diving into the upcoming pattern, as well as more days of severe weather coming up. Let's just get straight into this video, though, and first things first, we're taking a look at our current radar imagery. As you can see, there is some showery activity diving down through the Rockies. Actually, it extends further south than that. I think it would extend all the way down here. We basically have some showery activity going on from Washington through Oregon, Idaho, Montana, down through Wyoming, Utah, Colorado, and even New Mexico there. Mostly greens in there. And then we have some thunderstorm activity going on here for a lot of the central United States, including the north central United States. And then later today, we're expecting severe weather potentially here for this corridor, more towards the southeast and the mid-Atlantic. Let's just zoom into some different regions, though, and talk about each individual region here. Now we're taking a look kind of at the northern Rockies plus the Pacific Northwest. As you can see, we have plenty of showers moving along this region here, mostly from south to north, so we're seeing them move across just like this. And we can tell that most of these are lighter. There's actually some heavier pockets, mostly here in eastern Washington. So these are actually heavier pockets, which that's not very common for that region, but anything's possible, obviously. So we're not too surprised here. It does happen from time to time. It's just usually you see lighter showers across these parts. Now, as we work our way down to the southern four corner states, we can see that there is some lighter showers, more isolated and scattered around here for Utah, Colorado, New Mexico going on. So we see these just moving across, but these are lighter. We see mostly lighter greens in these regions, and this is just going to bring some sprinkles to some parts. And usually when you see showers like that, they dry up pretty quickly throughout the day. Now we do have some thunderstorms setting up over North Dakota and South Dakota. Bismarck being impacted by those right now, and especially areas in northern South Dakota, better yet. That area seems to have the worst thunderstorms up there at this point. We also have some thunderstorm activity down here for the more southern regions of the plains here. We can see Missouri, Iowa, Kansas, Nebraska, Oklahoma seeing some of these thunderstorms. Mostly on the eastern front of all this is the worst of it, but we do have some pretty bad thunderstorms along that. And even there was a severe thunderstorm warning there a little bit earlier on, kind of around 5 a.m., 6 a.m. time frame, something like that. A little bit earlier on, we saw that going on. We can see that as we move down to the Gulf of Mexico, there is just still these isolated summertime thunderstorms around for all of the Gulf states. And this is something we've seen day after day after day, and it's not uncommon at all this time of year to see this almost every single day, like I mentioned. As we move a little bit further eastward here, we can tell that there is some scattered thunderstorms around, especially for Tennessee here, but even in through North Carolina. Those are going on. They're going to kind of expand through the region a little bit later today. We see some showers and maybe even thunderstorms here for portions of the Mid-Atlantic, including Pennsylvania, D.C., Maryland, Delaware, and New Jersey there. And even the showers extending into West Virginia and Western Pennsylvania actually as well. I think that's all we need to talk about. So what we're going to do here is we're going to move on, and we're going to talk more about that upcoming pattern. We're going to dive into the severe weather and all other things. All right, now here we are taking a look at the upcoming pattern, and by the time we reach a little bit later today, we can see that some thunderstorms are popping off here for the southeastern United States, even up through the upper Midwest as well, but those are already kind of ongoing at this point. Let's just move this towards about Friday afternoon time frame tomorrow. It's going to be July 8th already, and we can see that the eastern United States once again gets some of those thunderstorms and showery activity. I really need precipitation in my yard, guys. My grass is drying up really, really bad, and we got no storms here yesterday, so I'm really hoping for some rain over the coming days. Otherwise, I'm going to have to really, really water the heck out of my lawn. I don't know about some of you, but it's been a really dry summer here in my part of Virginia. Now, we can see for Saturday, July 9th, we do get heavier precipitation moving through the southeast, so more thunderstorms and showers. It looks like there's 3 days of potential thunderstorm activity for my region, and yesterday would have been the 4th. I just missed out, so I have to at least get rain 1 out of 4 days, right? I mean, I don't have to. I know how the weather works, but I really hope I do. Sunday, July 10th here, we can see that this moves a little bit further south, so we're seeing this pattern kind of come to an end here. There is some precipitation going on for the northern United States as a whole there. By the time we reach Monday, July 11th, we can see things that really cool off here in the southeast. We see that for the upper Midwest and Great Lakes, we're seeing some of that precipitation and activity around. Tuesday, July 12th here, we see still for the deeper south, we're seeing some of this activity. And even up through these regions, we're seeing some thunderstorms, but overall quieter. I mean, if you can tell, there's some smaller regions of rainfall than the days prior. This is a much quieter pattern here. Now, by the time we're reaching Wednesday, July 13th, we can see that this activity starts to pick up again along actually the entire eastern United States and through the Gulf states. So we see these thunderstorms kind of pick back up, and even for Thursday there, July 14th, we see this continue on for the eastern United States. Friday here, and even Saturday along the very, very extreme eastern seaboard there. So overall, the eastern United States seems to be the most active out of most spots there. We're going to have to watch and see, obviously, what ends up taking place, but it seems like in the short range, we're going to see that activity. But again, this model returns us to that active pattern around Wednesday, Thursday timeframe of next week. So we see that return, but take that with a grain of salt. That is a little bit further out. Now, for total precipitation through the next 10 days, no surprise here, the southeastern United States sees the most here, as almost all the activity is isolated for that region. If you're anywhere in the white, we're expecting no precipitation practically. The grays will be 1/10 of an inch or less of precipitation. Your greens will be 1/10 of an inch to 1/2 an inch. Your blues will be 1/2 an inch to an inch. Your yellows will be 1 inch to 2 inches. Your reds will be 2 to 5 inches. And then your browns will be 5 to 10 inches of precipitation, which is going to be quite a bit. We see some of that up there for DC and Maryland, even the Carolinas, and even through Georgia and Louisiana. I'm seeing some of that as well. So throughout the southeast and mid-Atlantic, we see quite a bit of those very high precipitation amounts. Now, what we're going to do here is move on, talk about that upcoming temperature pattern, and then eventually we'll dive into the severe weather as well. Now, here's the upcoming temperature pattern. Here's a look at today. We can see there's a bit of a trough here in the western United States, and then we see things kind of ridge out, but it's a confusing pattern. It's hard to see the exact pattern this model's trying to trend at. I mean, we have warmth here. We have a lot of warmth here. There's no clear-cut jet stream pattern, and that's normal for the summertime. It's just that we had been having a pretty clear-cut jet stream pattern for a while there, but that was actually unusual. It looks like the primary ridge here, I would say, is over this region of the United States. That's no surprise, obviously, but it looks like we get a bit of a trough here in the east as well as the immediate west coast there for Saturday, July 9th. Now, as we move towards the 10th, we see, again, the same thing, kind of ridge for the central, trough in the east, trough in the west pattern. That seems to be what we're looking at here. Monday, July 11th, we start to maybe get a bit of a ridge here in the western United States, although, I mean, it's warm from coast to coast here. As we can see, the warmth really is all over the place there. Tuesday, July 12th, I would say probably we're in a pattern that looks about like this. So we're seeing this warm air really spread throughout most of the eastern United States and definitely the western United States there, with a bit of a trough in between. This is probably due to a lot of that storminess and cloudiness, so we can ignore that area for the most part. Wednesday, we see most of the warmth here is for this region. We see some of that going on for the eastern United States, but overall, I mean, very confusing pattern we find ourselves in. Main ridge is going to be just east of those Rockies there on Thursday the 14th. Friday the 15th, again, I'd say primarily a central United States ridge, but there's still warmth here for the eastern United States, so it's going to be really flip-floppy. We kind of stay that way, actually. We see cold in the west still for some spots and cold in the east, but this central United States area is mostly where we see this heat dome setting up, where there's probably a lot of warmth spreading very far northward here. Interesting pattern we find ourselves in. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to move on, and we're finally going to take a look at that storm prediction center forecast. Now, here's the day one categorical outlook for Thursday, July 7th. If you're anywhere in the lighter greens, we're taking a look at general thunderstorm risk, and that's where we expect general thunderstorms, but I want you to know anything is possible, so make sure to heed every watch, warning, and advisory. The darker green region there is going to be our marginal risk area, and that's where we expect isolated severe weather to occur. So keep that in mind. And then the two yellow areas there is our slight risk areas, where we expect scattered severe weather to occur within those two yellow regions. Now for day two here, we have two general thunderstorm risks, one for New England and then one for a lot of the rest of the United States. And that's where we expect general thunderstorms again, but heed every watch, warning, and advisory still. We have three marginal risk areas in the darker greens, one for Maine, one for the southeast, and then one for kind of like the north central United States and plains there. That's where we expect isolated severe weather to occur. And then we have one slight risk area there for Montana. Now, the day 3 categorical outlook here, we have 2 general thunderstorm risks again, 2 marginal risks again, so one up there for the north central and then one down there for the southeast. And we have 1 slight risk area up there for Montana, North Dakota, and Minnesota, where we expect ice, or better yet, scattered severe weather to occur there on Saturday, July 9th. Now, for day 4, we do have an extended day outlook here for Sunday, July 10th. We expect a slight risk of severe weather there for the Dakotas, Minnesota, Iowa, and a bit of Wisconsin there as well. We expect at least a slight risk to take place there within that yellow region. And then for day 5 here, or actually, you know what, that's the same day. I don't know what happened there. So we only have 1 extended day outlook here for day 4. Anyway, for today's confidence tab, we're remaining at a 4 out of 6. I don't really know what we're looking towards in this pattern. It's very quiet for the most part as far as major events. We're kind of waiting for our next bit of tropical activity, I would say. The most major thing going on is definitely the severe weather, where we have quite a bit of activity going on with that. Now, for today's patron highlight of the day, I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, but especially our Platinum patrons, Bill Crate, James Wade, Dovin Nagel, Larry LePan, Mandy Birchfield, Patrick Strickland, Dave Scott, and Donna Cardis as well. I would also like to thank our Diamond patrons, Bill Roberts, Marcus Connolly, Noah Harley, Michael Asa Capite, Charles Stinnett, Bill Dallas Garris, and John Khaleesi also. I would also thank our channel members, Capite, Stephen Fan, and Jeremy Cox as well. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to smash that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe for more weather-related content. I'll see you guys in the next video.